Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and Airbnb Superhost. And if you're like me, you likely heard that Airbnb just entered into its first worldwide sponsorship by entering into a supposed $500 million multi-year global sponsorship for the Olympics. Now, I happen to love the Olympics. Personally, I'm drawn to the Winter Olympics. Maybe you like the summer. It doesn't really matter. The point is this: Airbnb, first time ever doing a global worldwide sponsorship, putting about $500 million behind the initiative. Now, Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb, has since tweeted that that number's wrong. Could be lower or it could be higher. We don't know. But he did dispute the number itself. It's not exactly 500 million. My guess is it's pretty darn close, but it's not exact. So what is my take on it? It's kind of interesting because Airbnb is going public in 2020. That's almost a certainty because there's a lot of really high quality employees that need that exit and their options expire in 2020. So we're at an all-time high in the stock market. We made new highs just today. It's a great time to go public. They have enough demand that they don't need to use a traditional investment bank to get people to invest. They can probably just go direct. So I predict here on camera right now that they will go direct and they will not go the traditional route. But doing this program here puts them in like a world-class elite sponsorship. It's a huge $500 million ticket, and it's right next to people like Coca-Cola and Toyota and some of these other worldwide sponsors. So it's a really good idea to bring up their image in the world right now. You know, there's a lot of negativity on the Airbnb space right now between cities and communities and Halloween parties with deaths and people trashing and parties and, all sorts of stuff. That's like the stuff that sells. Those headlines sell newspapers and they sell ads. And so there's a lot of negativity in and around Airbnb. So here Airbnb is putting $500 million to work to increase the quality of their image, to increase the brand reputation before they go public, and also smartly to get a lot more hosts on their platform in some of their most major cities. And so I think it's really a win-win. I mean, there's just not nearly enough hotels for the influx of tourists and athletes and coaches and orthopedic surgeons and nurses. And I mean, just when there's an Olympics, the entire town, entire community is 100% Olympics, both for weeks before, during, and after. So everything is all about the Olympics, and it just makes sense that a lot of these homes that are in that area will become Airbnbs and lodge both coaches and athletes and guests and visitors and so on. So I understand why they would do it. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think the timing is perfect. But interestingly, I want to share with you a little bit about what the joint statement from the committee and Airbnb said, that the partnership was intended to support the sustainability initiatives of the Games, in part by including accommodation provisions that will reduce costs for Olympic game organizers and stakeholders, minimize the need of construction for new accommodation infrastructure for the Olympic Games, period, and generate direct revenue for local hosts and communities. So if you stop and think about it for a second, in games past, there was all sorts of initiatives to put up new buildings and new lodging and temporary dorms and all this stuff. And by redirecting and thinking about the new world in a new light, it's wait a minute, we can use all these existing homes and all the existing infrastructure and put money in host pockets and not build all these buildings that won't be needed, decades after the Olympics. Interestingly, Airbnb expects the sponsorship to create hundreds of thousands of new Airbnb hosts over the next 9 years, as well as offer visitors a more authentic way to experience the games and distribute the pressure that comes from an influx of visitors. Now, some of the cities might not really agree with that. There's a lot of community backlash. And in fact, one of the cities that the Olympics are going to is Los Angeles. Last I checked, Los Angeles has really strict guidelines about how you can host and who can't host. But I wonder if this isn't an early preview about how communities feel when Airbnb is actually a net positive to them. They just won the Olympics. It's a major win for the city of Los Angeles on a world stage. They've got all of this stuff. Airbnb is a sponsor, but is LA going to say, no friends, you can't come stay at Airbnbs because Los Angeles is anti our sponsorship and we're not into hosting, so you must stay at hotels? I don't think so. I think somehow Los Angeles and other cities and other communities on a go-forward basis will find ways to asterisks, carve out, exceptions. Oh, these rules apply normally, but during extenuating circumstances, when there's something that's really good for our community, suddenly we feel differently about Airbnb. In fact, we like it, so start hosting, right? Like, how crazy is that? And we'll see. I don't know what Los Angeles will do, and I don't even know the rules in Los Angeles because I'm not a host there. I just know that Los Angeles is prohibitive, restrictive. They make it more difficult than it needs to be, if not outright like challenging or impossible. But now we've got a major sponsor coming to Los Angeles, and we'll see what LA does about it. Airbnb was previously a domestic sponsor, but this will be the first time it'll be an elite worldwide sponsorship program. And the locations are Tokyo, Beijing, Paris, Milan, and Los Angeles. And these are 5 of Airbnb's largest markets in the first place, so it just makes a whole lot of sense. Airbnb co-founder Joe Gebbia said the partnership will, quote, ensure that the games are the most inclusive, accessible, and sustainable yet, and leave a lasting positive legacy for athletes and host communities. Airbnb's mission is to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, and we are proud that the Olympic spirit will be carried by our community, right? So let's stop and think about this for a few things, because I keep teaching the same words and now we're hearing them both in press releases and from the founders, and it bears underscoring. So what are the words that I keep hearing? Sustainability. I also add repeatability and community. It's all about those things, friends. So as you set up your entrepreneurial endeavors in the short-term rental market and you become a host and then you graduate to a super host and you start to scale, just remember to align yourself with what the Airbnb founding principles are, and those include sustainability and community, and I always like to throw in repeatability. It's really wonderful to host somebody once in a sustainable fashion, but in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be able to replicate that success and do it time and time again. So please let me know your thoughts below. What will LA do? What do you think about this sponsorship? Does this promote Airbnb in the positive spotlight that they need as they go public and they want to raise as much money as possible? Go ahead and comment below, like the video, and as always, I'm going to beg you to subscribe to the channel, but if you haven't, like, hello, come on, friend, let's go. Thank you very much.